And this is what's happening right now in the entrepreneur space. Everyone apparently has the secret sauce. If you are not capable of knowing how people are going to perceive you online, you're screwed. Business is not only about numbers. Cutting off people in your life or really rising up your standards, your boundaries. That's the main problem when it comes down to content creation. Who are you precisely talking to? Right now, if you forget about the camera that is stood up in front of you and you had to imagine that there is your audience, and it's like maybe just one person sitting across the chair you're sitting in. If right now, and this is very psychological and intriguing, you got to ask yourself, to kind of challenge yourself. If you only have one last lesson to give to a key person on earth because your time is out in 5 minutes, what would you be saying? What would you be articulating from all the life God offered you so far, all that you experimented, all that you've been so lucky to love or not love? What is it you're going to be sharing about? And to whom? And that's the key. That's what matters. Because nowadays online, there is so many bullshit stuff. I honestly don't have time to consume things that doesn't come from the willingness of adding value. I am not here to simply like hooking you up and telling you all about my lifestyle or telling you about how unique I am and why you should be working with me. That's not my saying. And this is also so wrong to tell you like I'm the only one who's gonna make you meet success. Who am I to be telling you this? And this is what's happening right now in the entrepreneur space. Everyone apparently has the secret sauce. Everyone has the magic tool. It comes down to humbling down yourself and knowing truly who you can help and have an impact on. So right now, it is true that I had to leave Dubai because of the situation, and I had the choice to come to Bali. So it's obviously a different scenery, and I'm meeting a total different kind of people, and it's actually very refreshing. I wouldn't say it's fulfilling because then it comes down to really again adapting myself, changing my way of introducing my business, also having a different kind of conversation. And it's a great challenge because it made me wonder, like, depending on inside which room I am, I got to adjust. And then it all comes down to also content and offers. If you are not capable of knowing how people are going to perceive you online, you're screwed. Because you got to be clear on it. What you are inside vibrating about, this is what you are sharing out there without even knowing it. And the first impression, guy, it is so crucial. After being able to live in so many countries, obviously I had to start from scratch, managing to find ways to meet new people, and naturally it is coming from networking. I want to stay humble here, but I'm freaking good at networking. I'm very good at just catching up what people love, what they're looking out for their life, and also in which level of energy they are. If there are some people, who are either still struggling finding out who they are, or either some people who already find out what is it they truly enjoy, or some people who are just freaking lost, or also understand, like, in just one look, I am capable of seeing if someone is embracing empowering thoughts or they're actually sabotaging themselves. And based on this, I know who I want to go talk to or who I'm gonna, stay far away from. Something that I actually been blessed over understanding and now embodying over the past few weeks is the art of cutting off people in your life or really rising up your standards, your boundaries. We all talk about boundaries, but truly who's applying them in their life? it is something quite challenging. When you meet someone or you go out on a date, it's so easy to be like, yeah, I want this, I like that, I don't like this, I won't accept this, na 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 na. You're kind of aware of it because probably from past experiences, you're not willing to keep repeating over and over again. So you're aware of those things, but though it is another scenario when it comes down to truly applying them. And since I went back to Dubai and I spent 2 full months there, I happen to really like understanding it is so important on how to preserve your energy and your time with the right people and also upon the right things that truly matters in your life. And here I'm most likely, like representing the business as a whole, because when you're in vibrant cities like this, it is so easy to get distracted and to be like, falling down the idea, oh, I just need to meet one person, and from that relationship, everything is going to change. Because that person probably, knows this person, so I'm going to get referred, and then I'm going to make business with this person, and whatsoever and whatsoever. So you end up going to like 100 of different events that are draining your energy, like feeling like, no, it's productive, I just met 50 people, and the next day you're like, I'm all gonna contact them back, then I'm gonna again like trying to grasp something. But because it comes down to wanting to use and have an advantage of those people, you end up not having anything or like being given anything back, because energetically you're not the one willing to give. You are putting so much importance on something that should feel natural and should be flawless. And this is a new insight that I recently got. It's just like let go of things you cannot control. You will meet the right person at the right time. This is such a basic sentence, but this is so true. Like if you want to force meeting a certain type of person, you are gonna push them away without realizing, because it all comes to balance forces. When you are managing to really like be appealed to something, have you never noticed that it's something that never comes to you? And what you truly don't want is actually what you're attracting. Just ask yourself this for a second, because it is some notions that might seem a bit like much lifestyle orientated, but it's gonna freaking be aligned over your business. Because right now you're dying to have this collaboration with this particular business owner, you're dying to have this, to be part of this community, you're dying of being invited to a specific dinner based on like networking with massive entrepreneur. And the fact you see the way I mentioned dying, it is like you're not breathing with calmness. You are not saying it like it is already done, I do feel it's already part of my reality. Then it's the opposite right now you are making as a scenario. You are begging it. You are like, I really need this, and if it's not happening, I have nothing left. So you are sending the wrong signal, and this is probably why you're not getting anything. And right now I'm just speaking out loud what I truly understood from those last past week, from reading a ton of books, from listening to YouTube videos based on the principle from Neville Goddard, and also obviously the book of Reality Transurfing. It is a game changer. If yourself you're feeling like that you thought business would be much more easier than this, and there is always something blocking you, then it doesn't come down to the outer world, but it's probably something that comes from inside yourself. So on top of that note, something that I would truly guys recommend you is like anytime you're feeling like you're hearing a thought that is so freaking unbeneficial for your growth, then what I add to add inside my lifestyle and my habits is that when I have a thought that is not aligned with the person I want to become, I'm straight up gonna open ChatGPT and start talking to him, telling him how I feel, the way I'm thinking, and probably also adding up some layers that I personally find that is a game changer for ChatGPT and the work I'm about to ask him of, which is, I think this thoughts calm down because of something that happened in the past, or right now, like because these particular things that I'm struggling upon could change things in the future. So it's not much only about what's happening right now and having the awareness about, but it's also be conscious of, I have this limiting belief that is triggering me because of what happened in the past, and in the future, whatever. And from my explanation on ChatGPT, is going to be able to break down every single touchdown that I could have not been able on my own to identify. And just by reading this, it is so enlightening. It is so amazing that I feel great about understanding something that I could have never been able to acknowledge, and that would have stick to me for like how many more years. And the fact that right now I took the habits of doing such, like I am growing so fast in business, like more than I thought I would, because I am not sabotaging myself anymore on certain limiting beliefs. For example, one that I could acknowledge you on is that, for example, one of my business partners had to leave Dubai to go back home, and I felt like, oh my God, I felt empty. And I start losing motivation, and I couldn't understand what was happening. So I started talking to ChatGPT about, and what he acknowledged me on was crazy. And it was about self-responsibility. For years and years, I would always find someone to stick myself to, and like pretending that person, and I would give the privilege to that person to tell me if I was worth it. So I would always attach myself to one particular person that I would have put on a pedestal. And based on this hierarchy, if that person would see me as an amazing person and would acknowledge me on it, I would then feel more worth it. And when ChatGPT explained me this particular behavior that I kept repeating over the years with different person, and every time that person would leave my life, I would feel empty and capable of nothing. So I would lose all of my value, even though it was still here. I would go straight up in survival mode, like, no, I cannot do it anymore because this person is not behind me telling me that I can. And so I start trying to understand, where is this coming from? Because I've never identified it before. And I happen to be able to go back in my memories and remind myself that because I'm from a family that is very strong into sport, like hiking, bicycle, running, like everything possible. When I was a child, we would always go doing something that would require a lot of effort. And from the fact that I had an older brother, I would always try to keep up with him. I would always push. And also my dad, every time I would start giving up or like feeling like I cannot follow anymore, my dad would always be the one pushing me, motivating me, and telling me, no, you can do it. You are strong enough. Like, I have no doubt. Let's go, let's continue. And that naturally would give me a pulse of energy and motivation, and I would just like go straight up, turn off my brain of, those little sabotaging thoughts about like, hey, I'm tired, I want to stop, or I start crying. No, from being 6 years old to until I left home. And so what I realized is this: I always adapt myself of having someone, which in that case back then was my dad, telling me I can do it. And then when I start stepping into business, I was always trying to find that person to replace my dad. So I would always like for someone who was supposed to be more successful than I, or were in a place where I wanted to become. And each time that person would not prioritize me or telling me that I can do it, then I would feel unresourceful. And so recently it happened in January that my business partner had to leave the country. So essentially the way my brain translated it is that, what am I supposed to do now? I don't have this person to tell me that I can do it, that is pushing me to be better. And so now from that massive talk I had with ChatGPT, I've been able to rewire my brain and to finally take my own responsibility, be self-aware. And it's been such a game changer, because now I'm not anymore waiting for that person to tell me, yes, publish this video, or yes, start working on this, or I'm just actually doing it for myself because I trust myself and I am privileging my growth because I do believe it's already here and it's even going to go even further. So here is just an idea that what happened to me, and now I'm actually blessed by God giving me challenges for me to be able to rewiring my brain. And it's obviously been a fantastic breakthrough because honestly, if I could have not been able to see it, I would have straight up go look out there for a replacement of this business partner. I would have dragged myself into that toxic loop again. And the fact that I've been able to break it, it did change my relationship with my business incredibly well. And if I probably didn't, financially, I would have not tripled my income. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, is like business is not only about numbers. And this is something you're gonna see in my YouTube channel. I'm not gonna hook you with like insane amount of money or like, hey, I did this, my client did this. This is not my style. So this is something that I'm not going to play around because for me, it is more a matter of making sure I am adding you value, not only financially, but breaking through. Because you see what I did inside my mindset here, it is something you got to be able to do it also if you're a business owner, because you don't want to keep sabotaging yourself. You don't want to wake up in 10 years' time and be like, fuck, I could have made millions over the years if I had understood this principle. So again, it's about full awareness and full consciousness, but it doesn't carry that much hard work. It is something when you feel ready for, then you unlock something and it's going to be so beneficial. So if it's something you first of all believe in and you do give credit on, you're ready to work on yourself, I am more than happy to honestly give you a bit of my prompt on more context on what exactly I'm doing with ChatGPT. This is not what I'm offering, by the way, like this is not what my business does, but because it's something that tremendously changed everything for me, I'm more than happy to share it. So just drop me a message on Instagram or even leave it a comment and I will reach out to you, because it's not only about business. It can be about your relationship with money. It can be about any freaking thing. And this is crucial for you to master your mind and give you that privilege of actually making an impact on your brain first, so then it can benefit the outer one. All right, so on this, I know it was a different kind of video, but I felt it was beneficial. But next time, don't worry, I will go back on the strategy, probably about Iman Gadzhi. So if you're interested on this, I will see you there.